What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with Indub and Raylan. I'm gonna just mess it all up. What's up, girl?
Not much, just out here. I'm back. Look, I'm back. You gave me such a hard time last time saying that I haven't really been here this year.
Facts.
Well, I'm back again.
Facts. Okay, you're back again. All right, let's go. Let's get it. This is another episode of Let's Talk Marketing with Indub, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today, we have a two-parter at 167. We are calling this, that's going to lead into 168. That will also lead to 169. So it's a two-parter with we put a hitch on it for what's called building a brand for a better business. And then 169 is going to talk about how you build your brand with having the right assets. And Raylan and I, we're going to chop it up, but really, as I'm having a guest, I like to shut up, let them talk, give them some shine so they can drop them diamonds for you. And if you haven't already tuned into the show, if this is your first time, thank you for tuning into our show. We appreciate you listening, downloading, sharing. Also, if you rated the show, gave a review, if you shared it amongst your peeps, thank you. And for my worldwide listeners that are continuing, dropping diamond bombs, look, y'all gotta give a brother some more reviews. For real though. So without further ado, if you haven't met our lovely, intelligent, savvy, quick-witted, one-liner, always sporting a hat, our girl, Réland Logan. What's up?
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Like Nathan said, my name is Réland Logan. I am the go-to gal for brand, and I'm excited to talk about how I can build a better business. And I'm ready to kick this off. Nathan, you want to get started?
Yeah, so being that this is a two-parter, I'm just throwing things at Raylan, but in case for those that don't know, Raylan and we partner together when it comes to clients and certain work and jobs that under the Indub brand, and Miss Raylan has her brand too that I know that she will speak about, and so I would like to talk about for those that in this first episode, if you're beginning with the brand to as we end on the last episode, which is the next episode for established brands. So we can even start off with what are some of the worst things that you've seen for companies that, oh yeah, I don't even know, are trying to build a brand, trying to get sales, their ops is all jacked up, maybe it's a one-person show, maybe they just started. What are some bad things? Let's start with the bad things first so we can end on a good note.
Well, the bad things are we're just not everybody. That was a blanket statement we don't need to use. But majority of folks just start on the wrong foot. They start in the wrong place. And if I were to ask everybody listening, what is a brand? You're either A, gonna Google it, and I know what you'll find, or B, you're gonna probably tell me a logo and the pictures and all these things. But the reality of the situation is that is not just your brand. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And so a lot of mistakes that I see is we start to come out and do marketing, and then we're testing everything in marketing, but we don't really know what we're testing to. We start building products, but we don't really know who we're building it for. We just think we have a great idea, and that idea is going to change the whole world, but can only change the whole world if the whole world wants to get behind it. And we start to just see this culmination of I know I'm right and this is going to work, and you can't tell me any different. And that goes for established and brand new businesses. And then it's like, I need a business plan, and that's half written. I need a marketing plan, and heaven knows they're trying to be everywhere.
I would just say they have their titles with some content in there in bullet point, bullet point, format.
I feel like you just gave me PTSD because of an email I received yesterday, and I don't want to go there, but just know that there's moments where things are just bullet pointed and it's not fully thought out, and it really breaks my heart.
But they say they have it, though.
They have it, and it's
absolutely
a picture on a Word document. Yeah, it really, really gets us places. It gets us nowhere. And so when I think about brand, when I think about what it really takes to have a complete brand, it's going to be made up of two parts, and those two parts have multiple parts. But for the sake of these two episodes, we're going to talk about the two big buckets that build your brand for a better business, and that's going to be your brand strategy coupled with your brand expression. And when we have those two things working together very well, it is easy and almost seamless to have a brand that everybody wants to come to, be a part of, and stay with you for a long time and build brand loyalty. The very best brands in the world focus on their brand first and understand that their brand isn't just the colors that they use, but the audience that they attract and who they are to that audience from a human personality level. So,
Mm.
are you
Oh,
ready to
she
dive in?
dropped that diamond. Did y'all catch that? She says human personality level. Get it? And it's early. This is Ray's not. Oh, this is not Ray's sweet spot, and she's dropping those diamonds early. Okay, get it.
We don't do podcasts at 1 a.m. since I'm such a night owl, but this is what you guys get at 9 a.m. So, woo!
All
Let's
right.
go.
I won't. I won't. Let me stop the joking.
So tonight, goodness, here we are,
Sorry, my bad. My bad. My bad.
and we're bringing it back. Uh, Today I want to focus on what it takes to build a brand strategy, because that's going to be the foundation, that's going to be the bedrock of your business. And when I'm coaching folks, when I am working with small businesses, a lot of times that is where I'm bringing it to. One thing we don't talk about often when I introduce myself, and hey, I'm very good at avoiding introducing myself, is the fact that I am also a certified business coach. And so when I do make that introduction to folks, I let them know that the order in which we should build our business is our brand first, then our budget, then our business plan. And what happens when you do some of those things out of order, we end up with experienced brands who are like, we need a rebrand. Or they say we need a refresh, and they never had an actual brand development to begin with. They just have a collection of information. And so it's really important, whether today is day one for you or day 1,265, that you understand that sometimes you've got to look back at the foundation and the bedrock of your business and see if it is tuned in. Because if something's not working further down the train, it's because these things weren't taken care of from the get-go, and or they're being used inappropriately.
Woo.
So
So when Jim Collins wrote the book Good to Great, I think that was probably, I don't remember when, I'm not going to Google it, but that is, I think around the time where folks started to use brands synonymously with businesses that understood the life blood, the lifeline, the sustainability of any company, nonprofit, for profit. It does not matter. It has to be centered around the brand aspect of it, especially when we talk about brand equity and why some of these companies are now in the $1 trillion evaluation mark. But that's where, if I can tell when some people are talking about their companies and they don't use brand interchangeably, I do see that to be a red flag just in our initial conversation when I'm doing my intake.
yes. And here's the thing. It's okay to not know what you don't know, but it's time to
Mm,
become aware, and that's why you're listening.
mm,
So when we look at brand strategy is going to be made up of two things. It's going to be made up of your brand substance, and it's going to be made up of your positioning strategy. So again, for breaking this down further, your complete brand is made up of your brand strategy and brand expression. And your brand strategy is made up of your brand substance as well as your positioning strategy. So, what is the substance of your brand? What is the core? What is the soul?
mm.
And a lot of times, what we get is some things that we create that we put on our website and we never look at them again, and our employees
Never.
can't tell it to you, and our customers can't really tell it to you,
No.
and it's just there and
And they
forgotten.
and they might even say, "Yeah, I Googled it, and that's what I came up with."
Stop it. Stop it right now. And
Yeah.
for my friends who use AI and Chat GPT, you can't just let the first version be that for you either. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Bars, drop it like it's hot.
Stop.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So, your brand substance, that is going to start with your beliefs, your core beliefs. Why do you believe in what you believe? What is it that you need out of your business? And what do you believe needs to happen, not only for you, but your customers and the world? Your beliefs are going to be a big part of why you started in the first place. That is going to be your why.
Yes.
Then you're going to have to know, what does your future brand look like? Where are we taking this? How are we going to change the world, change your industry, change your customers' lives? Where is the brand going in 10 years? And we want to ensure that when we're thinking about our future brand, we want the goal to be a little audacious, a little scary, but
Mhm.
still accomplishable. It's not asking for us to just like go a million years into the future. We want to make sure that we're taking the steps necessary to get there, but we have to make sure it's still pie in the sky. Then the third thing that is a part of your brand substance is really going to be those core values and just the piece that happens in your everyday. What is going to be there for you and you can hold to every single day that your customers can believe in and commit to? So we have that commitment. Like, what are your daily commitments that you are taking care of when you wake up in the morning and turn on the computer to when you ended the day? Did you meet what you said you would meet every single day? And then what is your philosophy around why you do what you do, how you approach what you do? When we're thinking about your beliefs, your future brand, your commitment, and your philosophy, that builds our brand substance. And I
Mhm.
use those words because the words I'm about to say are the words you hear every single time you hear about a company. And you might not think of it as its brand, but I don't want you to just put them on a website. I want you to utilize them day in and day out because that's going to be the foundation of your business. So, again, we have our beliefs, we have our future brand, we have our commitment, and we have our philosophy. But really, what we say in a business sense and a brand sense is we have our purpose, we have our vision, we have our mission, and we have our values. And they're not just there to throw away onto your website to collect virtual dust. They're there for you to have day in and day out and to shape how you attract your audience and move forward in your business. What are your thoughts, Nathan?
Whew. Um, a lot. You said a lot, and one of the things that I like to start with in my intake when I'm talking to a new client is, and I also like to start with some negatives of, okay, how are your customers gonna walk away feeling? And I bring up some of my old favorites, Toys R Us, Sears, and Blockbuster Video.
Hey,
All,
remember them? They don't really
oh,
exist.
right. All three of them had successful business models that focused on the product, but they did not focus on the customer. And that's why they lost. They got their lunch ate because it was never focused on the vision, mission, purpose, and values of serving their customer. It was all about the product and how they were going to make money. And this is where when I start talking to them, I'm like, these things are not a tactic. It is a strategy. It is something that when you get lost and when you get confused or when you get frustrated or get rejected, you come back to those things because those are the pillars, the foundation that those pillars even stand on, and it never changes. So this is where, why companies have values. Nike call them maxims and they stay the same. Is the soul of the company. So now I'm just repeating what you're saying. So yeah.
No, it is the soul of the company. And so, as humans, we have those. We may not have always defined them. And when we come across a person who's are very defined, we're always like in awe of that person. Like, wow, that person's so good. They're so accomplished. They're so successful
Right.
because they know in which direction they walk. They have that purpose. They do well. Look at Nike. Like, look at those companies that lead the way in this space. So when you have that brand substance, you want to couple that with your positioning strategy. And your positioning strategy is super important and one of my favorite parts of building brands for customers. And I spent a lot of time on this part, and Nathan is probably going to start nodding his head when he hears what I say next. But you can't have a business if you don't make money, and you can't make money if there aren't people to buy your stuff. So your positioning strategy is comprised of your target audience, your competitors, and your differentiation strategy. And I love that word. I'm not the best at saying it, but target audience, competitors, and your differentiation
Did you hear
strategy.
that?
Huh.
Did you not hear that? No.
I heard something. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep it coming. Don't stop.
Yeah,
So,
that was for that very thing that some people don't think that's important. So can you say that one more time for the folks?
yes, your positioning strategy is made up of your target audience, your competitors, and your differentiation strategy. And you don't have a business if your business isn't making money. And your business isn't going to make money if you don't have people to buy from you.
I had to
It's
add those
that simple.
audio clips because I think if you are not having those conversations with your consultant, your coach, that also including marketing, yes, you are going to fail.
You're going to fail. Like, sorry, not sorry. We told you. Now take that information and run. But to find your target audience, it's going to take some work. It's not going to be that simple. And so I like to actually start with your competitors
Mhm,
because
mhm.
their audience is probably your audience and we're taking market share from that space. And so we're not just going to look at our competitors' websites and be like, I did research. No, we need to go onto their pages. We need to see who's interacting with them on their social channels. We need to read their reviews. We need to start to get to know our competitors at a very intimate level. And the reason we do that is that allows us to see A, who are we targeting? Or is there somebody not being targeted that needs this as well? There's two sides to that.
Mhm.
Like maybe there's a whole group of people who are being excluded that we can bring in. And then when we also know our competitors very well, we also start to learn what do they do well and what do they not do well. And what they don't do well is what you want to lean into because what they don't do well is something that you can do well. And that's what's going to set you apart from them. So when we start to shape out who are our competitors and what do they do well and what do they not do well and where does that set us apart, that allows us to better focus on our target audience and get to know them at a very intimate level as well. We want them to be our very best friend. We
Mhm.
want them to know everything about them. How old are they? What do they do for work? What were they doing when they brushed their teeth this morning and then decided to search us out on Google and all the other platforms? Who is our customer? What is their story? What are their pain points? Like, how do we solve their pain points? What words do they use so we can use those words with them when we further our messaging here and the other pieces that build up our brand? But we want to get to know that audience so well that when they come across us on the internet, they're like, I want to go hang out over there. I want to be with them. Because at the end of the day, no matter whether you like it or not, your brain has different levels and processes. And the most core part of our brain is that reptilian part of your brain that sits in the very, very back. And its whole job is to keep you safe. And we want to create a space that tells the customer our brand keeps you safe. So they want to stay with you instead of running away because it's like, not a place for me.
Right.
And
I,
yeah.
I just want to say because we're gonna have to deck tell this and jump on the other podcast. Uh, I will say this is where when folks get scared of their competition, it's like no, competition is good. Don't back away from it. Lean into it. So I think this is sometimes where people do flounder because they get so scared that their competition is
No.
coming eat their lunch. No, that's not the case at all. If you are truly using everything so far that Ray has said, and you are putting it in your strategy, then your tactics. Yes.
It's going to make you stronger. And those two groupings and all the things within those groupings, your brand substance and your positioning strategy, build your brand strategy. And we need that first before we ever
Yep.
can go into brand expression, which is where all the fun is, if I'm being honest, because I love colors and I love storytelling and I love building the personality of the brand. But you can't have those things without having your brand substance and positioning strategy if you want to be successful. Sure, you can have them, but pretty
Mhm.
colors at the end of the day and a nice logo aren't going to get you money. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. And when my students ask me, can they help or can they build something, and they're thinking they're just going to create something, put it up on a telephone pole or social media, and they're going to say, now we're going to have people show up. I'm like, that's not it. 20 years ago, sure, but not today.
Not today. I mean, I even forget that telephone poles exist. Aren't they mostly underground?
I'm not the expert in that, but I do still see flyers on telephone poles in Portland, not in Vancouver though. So in the suburbs, in the suburbs, I don't think telephone poles are used. Yeah, but that's where you have those little corrugated political boards that people use, especially during political sign. They put in the middle of the road as their small, tiny, itty bitty little billboard.
Well, if I'm somebody's core audience, my advice to you is please don't put it on a telephone pole. I'll never know. I don't even know
Mm,
where to find them.
that part. So, with that said, if you are needing to have this spelled out to you more in detail, Ray can do it. And if I do it, I'm not going to provide a pretty little document that Ray's going to provide you. And Ray can do that all under the wheelhouse. It can be end up brand, but it can also be what company is your company, Ray?
I am the owner of Great Digital Marketing, and I really specialize not in speaking,
Oh, okay.
but I specialize in taking ordinary brands to become extraordinary brands with a little extra. And if you got the time, I can do it in under 3 days. So it just is what I'm passionate about. I love core audiences. I love getting down to the nuts and bolts of what it's going to take for you to be successful. And if you really want to reach out to me and this seems super compelling, you can find me on Instagram at Gray Digital MKTG. That is Gray with an A, Digital MKTG. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm a very easy person to find. My name is spelled Reland Logan, and I will be the only one.
Nice. So for all those that are listening, and if you want your brand to be built in a way that will be sustainable, hit us up. You can hit us up, email at info@nwebsterllc.com. And you can also go to the indubbrand.com website, which will also take you to the contact us page if you so choose to do so. You can hit me up or hit the company up on Instagram, IG, YouTube. Whenever you're watching this, don't be shy. I'm serious. It is worth the time, worth the investment, because there's nothing worse of working backwards and you're like, now I really am like feeling like a dumb beep because you didn't take the time to invest in your company, aka brand. So thank you
That
all
part.
for listening. We're gonna put Ray. Make sure Ray's information's in the show notes. The information's in the show notes. And Ray, thank you for giving us part one. You ready for part two?
Always ready for part two. Let's do it.
All right, 25 minutes in, y'all. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you tune in next week so you can hear Ray drop the second part. So until next time, wish you nothing but the best. So dream big and Godspeed.